Hello everyone and welcome to Whisky Wednesday. Today we are back in Japan and we are going to the northern part of Japan, the northern island called Hokkaido, where we introduce ourselves to Yoichi. This was Masataka Takatsuru's first distillery, set up in 1934, after he and the founder of what was Yamazaki kind of parted ways and were arguing for many years. This whiskey isn't intended to be like a West Coast Scottish whiskey. It does have a little bit of peat, a little bit of smoke, a little bit of salt, but it's nothing in comparison to things like Lafroig or Lagavulin. But that isn't necessarily a bad thing, because nothing does Lafroig like Lafroig and nothing tastes like Ardbeg does. This has its own unique flavour profile and it sets itself apart in that kind of slightly coastal Japanese world. Fun fact about all of them, even though they've only been going since 1934, I think it is the only distillery in the world that still uses coal fire stills, which isn't very environmentally friendly, but is more old school than the oldest school of all Scottish distilleries and Irish distilleries too. So we should expect a little bit of smoke with this. It is a little bit peated, but we will roll on and tell you what it's like. Nose doesn't give too much away. It's still quite a light style, sort of like definitively Japanese. Floral and approachable. There's kind of like wild kind of flowers and berries kicking around in there. Pretentious tasting note of the day, or pretentious smelling note of the day. I imagine you're walking through like a summery field after rain. Someone's going to come back and have a go at me about that. But underneath that kind of wild berry and fresh flower smell, there's just kind of like damp earth. Not heavily smoked, not heavily peated, just like it's a little bit earthy. Slightly medicinal. Overall, I'd just say quite salty. It's got like a smell of garlic flower about it. And then behind it, I think it's mainly bourbon barrel. There's kind of vanilla, caramel, some fresh fruit. Let's taste it. Palate is kind of where this thing comes alive. Now, if you try this versus Miyagikyo, which is the Highland Speyside style, I don't want to say style because that sounds like they're trying to mimic something, but it is more of a Speyside style than this is. That's a very effervescent whiskey. Kind of, it gets up into the roof of your mouth and into the, all of your senses, and it's kind of like a fireworks show. Loads of little flavours popping off everywhere. This is really heavy. It sits really low in your mouth. It feels dense. It feels very thick. And within that liquid, you've got these slightly fruity aromas, these slightly oak-driven flavours. It's not too dry, it's not too in your face, it's just, it's there, it makes its presence known. And then above all of that, you've got this little bit of salt and this little bit of smoke, and kind of like creosote and carbolic soap flavours. It's almost like, texturally, it's almost like swirling olive oil around your mouth. It's just really thick, and it gets everywhere. Then after you swallow it, there's a little bit of dryness and kind of like a backdraft of salt. And I know I've said smoke and peat a lot, but it is more of a salty style. I would probably compare this to something like a Talisker, or maybe like an older Bowmore. It's got depth and it's got variation. It's not just smoke, 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 smoke. There's a lot of hidden charm with that whiskey. Again, non-age dated, about 10 to 15 years old, 45% alcohol. It's my favourite Japanese distillery. That did used to belong to Hakushu, but I can't buy Hakushu anymore because it's going up in price like you wouldn't believe. So this, coming at the price point it does, about £75, is something I will buy over and over again. And as a result of that, the score has remained the same. It's a 9, really solid 9 for me. You add peat to any whiskey, or a little bit of smoke and a little bit of kind of salty coastal flavour, you get all the flavour profile you would from a regular whiskey, plus this added different next level. And it's like adding salt and pepper to food. It just amps everything up a little bit more. And I love it. And if that doesn't express why, I'm not sure what will. So that's Yoichi. It's the standard non-age stated bottling, and it's a 9 out of 10 from me. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you all next week. Cheers.